Guys, it's not quite even 7:30 yet, but seems like the light is fading quickly. It is an overcast day. I mean, it's been raining. But still it's getting dark very quickly, as I said. So tonight's campsite, too, as far as getting dark quickly, it's because we are even further east. I am so excited and thankful to report that old Zeke and I crossed over back in the United States probably about 2:15, 2:20 this afternoon, and into Maine, into the state of Maine, one of my truly favorite states. This is a state, too, that is just so near and dear to my younger brother John's heart. He had actually lived up here for many years, and he just absolutely loves this place, and I do as well. It was big part of my Appalachian Trail experience. And that said, this is what's crazy cool too. Let me go ahead and get up and show this. So, dirt road just out of the town of Stratton and Eustis. A couple little towns that are real close together, and even on their sign they had them both listed on the same sign. But all right, that stands out. You see that white blaze, right? Appalachian Trail. Yeehaw. Right there. And up the hillside. It's heading north. That's the direction me and my childhood friend, Mikey Stauff, were heading. I may have mentioned that already, that I'm pretty sure I did, that Mikey did Maine with me. He did. We were here 30 years ago this month. It was August that we did Maine, and again he left after New Hampshire, or while we were in New Hampshire, I guess it was. But we hitchhiked. We hitchhiked up to Baxter, climbed Katahdin, then started heading south, and pretty much took the whole month of August to cross the wonderful state of Maine. And Maine, out of the 14 states on the Appalachian Trail, I always tell people that Maine and Virginia were hands down my two favorite states. But and both of them being so different, just like the parks I've talked about, they were both my favorite, and I love this place. And there's just something about it. I tell you, the moment we crossed into it today, it seemed like it just changed. It got the woods on either side of the road, the trees just got thick, and the pines, and then again big lakes and mountains. As of yesterday evening, actually going across Quebec there, we started seeing mountains off in the distance. But yeah, just more mountains. And speaking of the area we're in here on the AT, is the Bigelow area, and we are in like the Bigelow Preserve, public lands, and the Bigelow Mountains are just here to the north, I believe, so they should be up the trail that way. And so let me go ahead and come on back over here and sit down. I didn't do a video journal yesterday, at least on the phone I didn't, because of my whole issue I was having with memory, the ongoing been dealing with. But thankfully, now that we're back in the States too, I've got, we did get it squared away. Our services did change from Spectrum to Verizon, so that helped. Being there in Canada, at least I had service, but then I was still limited. Being international, I was still limited on my data. But now that I'm over here, my data is kind of wide open now, and I am getting some videos loaded. And I still got, a few videos loaded, even, there in Canada. But I'm certainly getting them loaded now, and I've got some memories. So this is amazing. I'm so thankful for all of it. And too, after being on this trip all this time, the 15 plus weeks, all the journals I've made, I've actually, because I'm a few days behind, I got cut off there in Algonquin the other night. I got cut off, so I'm going to do a little bit of backtracking here. So I actually, for the first time, I wrote some stuff down, which would just kind of help me, with recollecting all of it. Want to make sure I get it all in tonight if I can. But oh, and I mentioned too, I said about not doing a journal yesterday. I did actually before we rolled out of Algonquin yesterday. Went back to the rocks that we were at the night before, and sat there for a little bit. And I shot some video with the GoPro, and talked about it and everything. But again, unfortunately, the GoPro stuff is just going to have to be loaded at a later time, so it's definitely going to be out of order. But as always, I do record the dates and all, so at least we'll know when it was. It just won't be in line with this stuff. Because I'd mentioned the GoPro a while ago about wanting to get some more of that footage on, and I did for a while. But again, the whole process of uploading from the camera itself to my phone, then to YouTube, it just takes way too much time. And I've got so many of these journals, taking up space on my phone that I need to get loaded. I'm just going to pretty much probably just wait till after the trip now to, get all the GoPro stuff loaded. But God willing, there's going to be a bunch of it. I'm talking a ton, copious amounts of GoPro footage. So anyhow, so let's see. So let's just, again, as far as today, I guess I'll just do today and kind of work backwards. 140.2 miles. And camped last night just on the other side of Sherbrooke, some French named campground, private campground, which is, I'm going to say it's the first private campground I've stayed at on this trip. And only a handful of them that I've stayed in my whole entire life. I haven't, stayed in very many private campgrounds. But didn't get there till about 8 o'clock last night, I guess it was. And I was worn out. I was absolutely just wasted tired. But that said, because we did 371.2 miles yesterday, which is either the second largest day we've done of this whole journey, or it's the third largest. Again, there was the one 400-mile day, and then there's been some other 300s, but I don't know if any of the other 300s were that high or not. So I'm thinking that was the second biggest day of the whole trip. But it was a beautiful day's ride. It like threatened rain all day, and the direction I was heading, east, just the sky often looked dark and looked like it was going to, at some point just pour to rain. But I just absolutely thank the Lord it did not. And it did rain like during the night or early this morning. I guess really probably there a little bit before I got up this morning. It started sprinkling here and there, but I was surprised when I opened my tent and looked out. The picnic table and everything just only had, some sprinkles on it for what it sounded like in the tent. I expected, it to be pretty wet out, but it wasn't. But it definitely got, fairly wet later because, again, it did rain and rain some more, and just off and on pretty much all day. It's been raining here at the site, at this site as well, but nice heavy canopy of leaves above me from the pines, and then there's a hardwood in there too, which these actually I actually think these might be birch. I know before back in Minnesota and Wisconsin I said they were aspen, and birch were pretty rare over there, but I'm going to say these are actually birch, and got plenty of leaves on them, so that makes it nice. So anyhow, let's see. So again, last night, again, like I said, got over there late, was exhausted, but, just thankful to be there. And I said a French campground, rolled into Quebec, I guess late afternoon yesterday, and it was amazing. It was like driving into a foreign country. I've been in a foreign country, of course, off and on this whole trip being in Canada, but no, it was, it turned, just like that. It road signs, everything was written in French. Really surprised me too. I knew that Canada had a big French element, but I guess I thought it was like there were French Canadians and there was a French influence and all that, but I never dreamed that it's full on French over here or over there. Again, the road signs, the people, I heard people speaking French. I've really felt like a foreigner like no other time in this trip. Last night, just there's a young teenager working in the office there where I was signing in at the campground. And there was a communication barrier. She was trying to tell me things in English, and she'd kind of giggle and smile and say, "Oh, I don't know how to say in English and stuff." And she was really cute. She was really nice. But there was truly, and I told her, I kind of laughed and I said, "Yeah, I don't know any French." So yeah, I mean, it just kind of surprised me. It's pretty cool. It was pretty cool, but it was just different. Like I said, not really. I had no idea that Quebec is that French. I mean, like I said, it's full on French. I'm sure many of you know that, but this old boy didn't. I had no idea. So yeah, as I was saying, beautiful ride yesterday. Stopped at the rocks there at the lake at Algonquin before I left, and as far as people, I unfortunately didn't get his name, but they're in a town called Barry's Sound. It's a cute little town, and this was still back in Ontario. Met a guy at the gas station. Looked like they were doing some traveling. I think he had Ontario plates, but anyhow, maybe just out, camping for the week or for a few days or whatever, because they had like luggage on top of the vehicle and all that. But he was there with I think his wife, and I think they had a couple kids. But I ended up talking to him. I was parked at this gas station, doing the usual, drinking coffee, eating, and charging. Surprise, surprise. But over on the side of the building, and he pulled over on that side to get some air in his Subaru. And he asked about my adventure and all that, and so we talked there for a few minutes, and told him about the channel. So hopefully you guys are watching. Nice guy. He's also a rider. He doesn't do any long adventure riding or anything like that, but he rides. And I tell you too, it was encouraging to hear him talk about how it wipes him out when he rides. Just talk about how tired it makes him. And I was just like, man, I said, I've been telling you all about how wiped out and tired I am after riding. Seems like all day, every day I'm telling you guys that, or often I'm telling you that. And he was just, and I was telling him, in the past few days, I kind of came up with this actually, maybe like a day or two before he and I had talked, that I think it's just that element of the heightened sense that you have when you ride, the kind of intensity, so to speak, even though it's like a relaxing thing to do, but still there's like an intensity to where you're just again, you all who ride, and I think it really just it drains you, because he was saying, yeah, his day rides, just just being out for hours or riding for the day, about how he'd get back and he would just be absolutely wiped out. And then he said too, I didn't, he said he thinks there's like a cumulative effect, like the more you do it too. And I told him, I said, yeah, out of these 15 weeks I've had, I always tell you guys, I've had 3 off days to where I don't suit up, where I haven't suited up and ridden. And I just feel like it is definitely built up to where I just feel like I'm just tired all the time. But I have been actually since the beginning of this trip. But again, that's because it's never let up. But it's a good thing, though. Again, I'm not complaining. It is all part of the adventure. And like I said, I'm like a kid who gets to play outside every day on summer break and comes in exhausted every evening. That's, I think, my best analogy for it. But anyhow, it was good talking to you, man. I'm sorry I didn't tell you my name and, didn't get yours. But Barry's Sound reminds me, the other night too, I shouldn't say I already remembered this and wrote it down, but what I wanted to tell you guys, when I was drawing a blank on that town that I went through when I was heading over to Algonquin, and I said it was something that started with a P, that was Perry Sound. And which was just a neat old town on the water. And anyhow, so that was Perry Sound, and then like I said yesterday was Barry's Sound, and then to Perry is something else that I wanted to mention along that lines as far as names or what sounds alike, is James Perry that I'd mentioned, like a week ago, that I'd met there in the UP, he and his dog Pablo. And the reason I wanted to bring him up again is because I told you all that he was an artist. And I did go to his website. It's jamesperry.com, and it's Peery. And yeah, he has got some cool stuff on there. Some abstract. And then, I mean, just some pretty stuff, though. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, he definitely, I could see why he's a, professional artist and all that. There are some nudes, so just warn you there. I don't know that anybody, is going to think anything about that either way. But it is, and it's in an artistic way, of course, paintings. But yeah, so there's that, and again, just some neat stuff, though. James does some good work. So if you're interested, check him out, jamesperry.com. Let's see. Okay, so again, I've got it written down. Okay, so back in, day before yesterday, they're riding around Algonquin that day that we riked around the park, for 100 and some miles, just over 100 miles. I think I said the mileage that evening when I got that short video in that I got cut off at the campsite. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did 104.1 or something like that. But yeah, that day, a milestone, we crossed 19,000 mile mark since we left home. 19,000 amazing, blessed miles. So thankful. That, and then people that day, I was going to mention there at the Portage store, they called it there inside the park, which is right at the at some on this big lake, and boat docks, canoe docks, and all that. The Portage store, of course, they rent canoes and some gear, and there was a a nice restaurant, or I don't mean nice as in, fancy, but, just a nice, neat place right on the water. But a restaurant and place for souvenirs. I'm not wearing the hat tonight, but I did buy a Algonquin hat there and some stickers and a patch for my jacket or my vest. But I met some people. There was a young man that sold me some gas. They had 2 gas pumps, and they keep them locked up, and they would come out, as needed. And so the young guy that came out so I can get my gas, his name was Chase, and he was a nice young man. And he told me something when, as we parted. He said, keep smiling. And I think that is super cool. I take it maybe that's his line that he says, maybe to everybody. Maybe not, I don't know, but I just liked it. I think that's an amazing line. If that's the way when you leave people, have a good one, or whatever, be well. But he says keep smiling, and I thought that was super cool. And just good to meet you there, Chase. And then also I met a couple Canadians, husband and wife, Ross and Linda, and they were neat folks. She was telling me that her dad, Linda's dad, is 91 years old and still rides a motorcycle. And he's all about BMW motorcycles, but like older ones, not the, not the brand new modern ones. He likes the classics, evidently. But 91, and he still rides. And he used to race. He lived in New Zealand and raced over there. And maybe he raced there in Canada as well. But he's even in some type of riding Hall of Fame, which I still need to look him up. I know his last name is Blakeney, something. I almost think it might have been William Blakeney. I'm not sure. I'll come back to you all on that one once she had emailed me, some information, about him, I guess, or and I'm going to look at that and check him out, and like I said, I'll come back to you all when I figure out exactly what his name is. But anyhow, he's 91, still rides, and I just think that's amazing. I told her, I hope God willing, when I'm his age, I'm still riding. I think that'd be so cool. And she's Linda is an art instructor, so she kind of schooled me on some art. Art is very big in in Algonquin in that area. There's evidently some legendary artists back in the early 1900s called a Group of Seven, and one of them, Tom Thompson, I take it might have been like their leader, and he died mysteriously out on the lake in his canoe. They found his body like 8 days later, and then they never found his paddle. Had a gash over his head, or like over his eye, and so it's kind of like one of them things. It's kind of like a legend of an unsolved. Well, they don't know that it's a murder, but there's, I guess, those who speculate and believe it was. But anyhow, so that was interesting. But then they had some of the of his work there displayed. I'm sure copies, of course, at the Portage store. And yeah, some beautiful stuff. And she showed me, some more Tom Thompson's on her phone, and just some neat environmental, just I guess I don't know if you say landscape, but nature stuff that's painted in a totally different way. Really like. I wasn't familiar with it at all. I thought when she was telling me about it and she showed it to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know that. But no, I was not familiar with it at all. But it was pretty cool. And again, I wouldn't doubt it if many of you all aren't familiar with the Group of Seven and Tom Thompson. But and then Ross, though, Ross is an interesting guy. Her husband, I think he told me he's an anthropologist and a businessman, and he's written a book, and what is it? Ideas to Profit is the name of his book, and I'm going to check it out sometime. But just an interesting guy, very like inquisitive, just asked me a lot of questions, and just genuinely interested, and just a friendly, just a very easy to talk to guy. Both of them seem like they're just educated, well-to-do people, but just nice people, and I really enjoyed the visit with you guys. So really, it was great to meet you guys. And emailing with Linda, she said she hopes we stay in touch, and I certainly want